Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Legacy Farmer, the podcast. This is your host, Jace D. Young, and today's topic of discussion is this: financial confidence. So today I want to talk about financial confidence with you because we've been going through and coming into the new year here, we've had, all of our members getting all their farmer metrics and everything set up. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you've been hearing me talk about farmer metrics. And what farmer metrics does is it basically exposes everything that the bank would ever need to make a decision inside of your operation when it comes to your finances. So our members are going through, plugging in all their assets and liabilities, or running the calculations to show exactly what position they have with the bank. And really what we're looking for there, guys, is their borrowing power with the bank and overall just their leverage position with the bank, because that's the way I kind of like to look at things. With what we do in Legacy Farmer is we're trying to put the farmers and ranchers that are inside of our program back in control and give them the power back over the bank. And when we do this, when we have all these numbers put in here clearly, they're easy to recognize. It's just a very clear setup. You take away all the power and control from the bank, because again, I'm exposing the banks here, guys. I am literally laying out and giving our members every freaking tool they would ever need to have that power and control over the bank. So a lot of our members right now, we're getting into 2022. A lot of you are going to have renewals coming up with your operating line of credit at the bank. Banks are going to go through their same thing, annual balance sheets, give us your updated stuff there, get us your tax returns. If you don't have tax returns done, then they get us your profit and loss for the year through QuickBooks or whatever that may be. And this turns out to be actually a very stressful time for farmers and ranchers because, let's be honest, guys, this isn't your focus point. A lot of you listen to this isn't your focus point. When people come into our program, the numbers are not their focus point. That's the biggest reason that they're coming into the program, because we show them how to simplify these things and really simplify the numbers across the entire operation so they can know where they're at on a day-to-day basis, which drastically changes the decisions that they make. And let's be honest, there's no shortage of financial decisions that you guys are making throughout the year. And we're not talking small financial decisions. So it's kind of important to know where you're at financially and how this decision that I make today is going to impact my operation 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. And Farmer Metrics gives us the ability to do all that. So like I said, a lot of our members are going through, they're updating their farmer metrics. They're going to send that off to their banker, and we're basically streamlining even loan renewal. Some of the members that did this last year, instead of loan renewal taking 2 weeks, it literally took 2 hours, because again, we're just giving the bank everything they need ahead of time. And I'm explaining to our members exactly what they need to say, how they need to say it, how the bank looks at these things so that they can get in and out quickly so they can get back to doing what they love to do, which is run the operation, right? So a lot of our members going through, updating those things, sending them into the bank. And so I took some time here, guys. We've built out our own software with Farmer Metrics. And in the beginning, we just ran it on Google Sheets. Last year, we put $250,000 into our own software so we could better track historical changes and everything with our members' numbers over time. But the other benefit of that too is we have all of our members plugged into one software. Interest rates they're getting on their loans, overall profitability, and we're able to actually figure out average operating line of credit interest rates that our entire community is getting. That way, if somebody comes in and they're at 5% and they see the average for our group is 3.5%, man, that gives them some ammo there to go and renegotiate those rates. So the one thing that I did here is I wanted to get an update on how members were feeling about the software, because again, we're putting a lot of money into this and we're building this out custom to farmers and ranchers, guys, and exactly what our members are needing. So I wanted to get some feedback from them. So I asked them some very simple questions inside of our group here, and the responses I got, there was one word that continued to come out. Can you guess what it was? Confidence. Because I asked them how Farmer Metrics made them feel as a business owner and how they felt now walking into the bank versus how they walked into the bank a year or 2 years ago before they came into Legacy Farmer. And one word that continued to come up was just confidence. And that's where I came up with this term, financial confidence. Guys, so many of us, and it just really exposed it, how many farmers or ranchers right now are running around out there, and you're driving in your pickup every single day, and you're going out and you're writing these big checks, you're making these huge financial decisions, but yet in the back of your mind, deep down you have zero financial confidence because you don't know how that decision is going to impact your operation over the next 3 months, even let's go shorter term than over the next month. Right? Or over the next year or 2 years. Like when you have zero financial confidence, you're constantly second guessing yourself. And, last year I talked a lot about how, farmers or ranchers, when you don't know your numbers, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and you just stare at the ceiling. Because deep down, it's like this wolf is hunting you. Deep down, that you do not know where you're at financially, yet you just decided to purchase a new combine, or yet you just decided to pay $350 an acre for some new ground that you're picking up, or you bought some new ground, or whatever it may be. You guys make massive financial decisions. And what I'm discovering is 95% of farmers are basing that financial decision off of their feeling, how they feel about the decision, how they, just their emotions, right? How it'll make them feel if they pick up this ground that's right next to them, works really well with their operation. Yet deep down, it could sink them financially because they don't know what the numbers are. And again, like guys, this becomes a wolf hunting you. It does, as every business owner, and even me, if I do not know my numbers with my business at a detailed level to where I can look at them and make daily decisions based off of what the numbers are telling me. Because guys, inside of my program, I spend a lot of money. Like we spent, like I said, $250,000 last year just on our software. And then we spend a lot of money on ads and everything every single month as well. So I have expenses too. And if I'm not knowing where I'm at financially, then I feel stressed 24/7. I will feel like I am being hunted. Like there's just unknown out there and I don't know what it's going to expose, but when it comes up and it rears its face, man, it's going to be ugly and it's not going to look good and it's not going to feel good. And I'm going to it's going to take a long time to recover from that. You know, a couple of weeks ago on our podcast, I talked about taking one step forward in 20 years or 20 steps back. Guys, this is how this happens. This is how you take 20 steps back when you do not understand that the financial decisions that you are making in 2022, how they will impact you. If you do not track these things, you are screwed. Long term, you will not survive. The market is becoming more complicated. We have more volatility. Prices and everything are skyrocketing right now for your input costs and everything. And so if you don't know the numbers, guys, I sit here and I think about like fertilizer and how much it's went up over the past year. This is a common discussion inside of our group. And how many guys are just going to go out there and buy it, but they're not tracking any of their numbers. They're still going to continue to buy it like it's at the discounted price that it was last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. They're going to operate under the same assumption that, hey, yeah, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go buy the same amount as I did last year. Right? Deep down, though, they know that there's profitability leaving their operation, but they have no way to track it because they have not simplified the numbers and they have no idea where they're at financially. Guys, you need to understand the weight that this has on a person. When I talk about even my business, if I don't know the numbers, it's all I think about. It's all I stress about. And, we go through and I update my numbers on a weekly basis and I'm looking at them and we discuss them on our Monday morning L10 meetings is what we call them with our entire team. And we're going over finances. Like this is a weekly discussion for us. And again, for a majority of farmer ranchers, how often do they discuss finances? Well, once a year when they go through and do their renewal. How often do they fill out a balance sheet? Once a year when they do renewal. How often are they looking at their income and profit and loss statements for the year? Once a year when they go do bank renewal. How are they basing their income for the year off of? A lot of farmers or ranchers, they look at their tax returns and they don't understand the difference between their tax returns and what the actual profitability of their business was. They look at their tax returns and like, well, I thought I made money last year. You guys understand that the tax return is the most manipulated financial document inside of your operation? You can make that thing look whatever the way you want to for the year. But again, if you're basing decisions off of that, you're screwed because that's not the reality of what's coming into your bank account and going out of your bank account on a month-to-month basis. And you have to have a system set up to track this. And this is what we do inside of Farmer Metrics. But again, my friend, I just found it interesting that the one thing that was repeated, we had more than 20 comments on that post. Every single one of them said confidence. It gives me the confidence when I'm walking into the bank. It gives me the confidence when I'm making daily financial decisions because I have something to challenge the decision. It's not just me feeling good and going and making it all, driven by emotion. I'm going back to Farmer Metrics. I'm plugging in the actual numbers of me making that decision or that purchase or picking up that ground. And I'm able to see exactly how it's going to impact my operation over the rest of the year and the years going forward after that. Guys, you gotta be thinking long-term like this. And a lot of you've made these decisions where you go and you buy ground or you pick up a piece of equipment. And let's be honest, guys, you made that decision in one day, like less than one day, like an hour. Some of you guys, just because you're emotional. And I get it. That's how humans are. That's why we have to have these systems in place to make sure that we're challenging our emotion that drives us. And I'm the same way. I'm not just talking about farmers and ranchers. This is every business owner in every industry across the world. And if you don't have the systems in place, you're screwed. So my friend, right now, you may be in that position. And right now, this needs to be a priority for you in 2022. I don't care if you come into Legacy Farmer and use our systems and programs or whatever. Yes, that'll help streamline and simplify a lot of it for you. But maybe you want to go figure it out yourself. Okay, great. Go figure it out. Like it needs to be top of mind for you. You need to know exactly where you're at financially. Just so, there's a few reasons behind it. The biggest one is so you know how the decisions that you're making on a day-to-day or month-to-month basis are impacting you long-term. But then two, that financial confidence, right? You want to be confident in how you're running your business. And in order to do that, you have to know the numbers. So my friends, I'm going to round this episode off. I hope you found it valuable. I hope you take action because of it. Go figure out your freaking numbers because, guys, we have hundreds, if not thousands of family farm operations going out of business every single year strictly because they're not tracking the numbers. We will catch you on next week's episode.